We hold Billy too there. Okay, Bill, come
Ladies
on
and gentlemen,
around.
please hold it quiet.
Okay, that's the shot.
What up, world? Thank you for ripping a ticket to another installment of Hellhound Film Club. I'm your host, Cody Pope, and this is my co-host, Danny Dymez. And as I truly am, every time we do this, I'm thrilled to introduce tonight's special feature.
Whoa. First thing first, we're live from the spot in downtown Nashua, New Hampshire, one of Gate City's most interesting entertainment lounges featuring mocktails, coffees, kava, and more. Check us out here for the Hellhound Film Club live free movie night and podcast recording on Wednesday nights at 217 Main Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, when we're open at 7 p.m.
That's right. Every Wednesday, we're here screening free movies. Now, for our special feature, we have the following selection. You know, we've had a lot of serious movies in our repertoire, a lot of thought-provoking psychological thrillers. And so, what better to keep the theme going than The Wedding Singer?
What a switch up.
Originally released February 13th, 1998. That's why we aired this week. What a way to celebrate Valentine's Day. Whether you're with a loved one, you're at home alone, you're hanging out with friends, whatever the case is, this is one that will pull at your heartstrings. And I can so not to like be into like fact mode already, but Adam Sandler had been on a kick for like 4 years where every year he had like a big movie come out, and 97 ended up being the first year in that run that he didn't have a movie come out because they thought this would be good for Valentine's Day. So instead of it coming out in like November, they held it until 98, and he ended up dropping 2. And so like you're kind of like, oh, that sucks to break up that streak, but it's like it really does seem like a Valentine's Day kind of movie. Like
Definitely based on like the plot and like all the little subcontexts. Is absolutely, it's a Valentine's fall in love, take your first date to
exactly.
I'm gonna make you feel something inside, and I'm gonna be the man to bring you to it.
that was definitely like that was one where like my like teenage girlfriends and I would like watch that. That would be like the movie we'd put on the VCR while we were hanging out and shit. Like, so let's get into it.
Absolutely.
So, The Wedding Singer is a 90s comedy film, as we mentioned, from one of the most iconic of his time and generation, Adam Sandler.
And local.
Set in 1980. That's right.
Local.
Shout out to Manchester, Queen
local,
City.
Baby.
So The Wedding Singer is set in 1985. Adam Sandler plays a nice guy. His name is Robbie Hart. He's a wedding singer. He just had his heart broken, and he's stuck in one of the most romantic jobs in the world, being a wedding singer. And so he loses all hope when he's abandoned at the altar by his fiance. He ends up meeting a young woman who works in the same industry as him, named Julia, and she tries to enlist him to help plan her upcoming wedding. Eventually, as you can probably imagine, romance starts to brew, and now he's got to win her over before she gets married. So it's interesting how many like twists and turns it takes for what on the outside looking in could seem like just like kind of like a rom-com. Maybe I'm biased because I like it so much, but like I think it's a lot more nuanced than a traditional rom-com. I feel like we were joking about some of the like missed position. There was areas in the writing that could have been tightened, But
Yes.
I think overall thematically though, they did a really good job at like knowing that they were gearing this towards like an everybody audience, but trying to write something that was like mildly thought provoking. And you know what I mean? It was like it was a lot of back and forth of like, oh, how does this person feel? How does this person feel? Like a lot of contrast.
I think there was a lot of thought provoking throughout the movie, but at the same time, wanted to still keep a lot of that slapstick humor.
Yeah.
From Happy Gilmore and from Billy Madison, which both were before this movie that, you know, catapulted his stardom.
Yeah.
Like by the time this movie was being made, and like he had set his precedence as being like the comic, like the movie comic, like of the era of that time.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they were doing this, that they wanted to keep that slapstick humor that had made those movies what they were inside of a rom-com. And
yeah.
And
I don't think you're wrong about that.
And to keep that kind of slapstick humor still and make it pertain to a rom-com, I think is also something that they did well, because some points of this movie like pull on your heartstrings. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, like no man wants to get left at an altar. Like, never mind a woman getting left at the altar, like heartbreaking as that would be. Like, I think it's just as heartbreaking as if a man were to be left at an altar. So to have something like that thought, like provoking, and then turn around and still make it funny.
Yeah, and it's crazy, right? Because it's funny that you say that, because I've seen this countless times in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I had it on VHS, I have it on DVD. Like, I literally can't count how many times I've seen this. But this was the first time that I've watched it since I've been an engaged person. And so it's interesting having a fiance and like knowing that we're like planning to get married, to like it really like had an effect on me, I think, a little more, of being like, damn, like, you know, most people don't do that unless they're really ready to do that. And so to get that far into it, and like the day of at the fucking altar to be like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing
I'm good,
this.
I'm all set.
Like, it's just like, man, like even knowing what was gonna happen, it just like hurt more, being like, oh, I can't. Yeah, it was crazy, but even so, it made the good parts really good too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's those moments that like watching it as a kid were just like kind of cheesy. Now it's like, oh my god, like that chemistry is like crazy between them. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like some of that stuff is like hard to act with somebody that you don't have chemistry with. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if this is 100% factual, but from what I've read and I've heard and found out, that like this movie actually like came about because Drew was actually pursuing Adam romantically.
I read so
that's what I heard.
So what I read was that she was pursuing him to do the movie because she thought that they would have on-screen chemistry. That's what I read.
Okay.
I feel like yours was quite provocative.
It was. That's why I was like,
we'll be ruffling some feathers.
Hey, that's what I do. I ruffle.
But let's do this how we do this every time. Both of us had seen this before tonight, but I think seems safe to say that it had been at least a couple years or so, if not more.
Absolutely.
So how did you feel now that we just finished your like initial rewatch of it? Like,
I will have to say this. Rewatching the movie from probably maybe even up to my early 30s might have been the last time that I've seen this, or maybe like 10, 12 years since I've seen this. I will have to say some of the parts in the movie, like the part after he gets left at the altar, he decides to go and work, and he's sitting there singing, and like when I was younger, to me, that was just pure, to me, comedy. It was
Yeah.
funny. It was like, you say another word, I'm gonna choke you with my microphone. Like, it was just funny to me. Now being older,
and like having like experienced the highs and lows of those kind of emotions, like to be like, oh my, like
it wasn't so funny anymore.
Yeah, like I know I was
It
like,
didn't make me laugh. It made me
like,
almost
dog, I
want
know
to cry
how
a little
you
bit.
felt, dog. Like
I wanted to like hold him through the screen and be like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've
Dude.
been here, bro. Like,
and even like as a musician, like for me, like I've had those moments where it's like I'll be performing and there's like other things going on around me, and it's like, yo, if you don't zip it right now, I'm gonna put you in a body bag. Like I only have 30 minutes to do what I'm doing, and you're gonna shut up and watch if I have to tape your eyes open. Like, and it's like, and you can't really do that, so you just have to kind of like,
I'm gonna tape your mouth shut, tape your eyes open, stick a funnels in your ears so when you hear and see everything.
yeah. Oh man.
But that was, now being older and going through things in my life, rewatching that movie touched different areas, like emotionally and mentally,
Yeah.
that it didn't touch 10 years ago, didn't touch 15 years ago, didn't touch 20 years ago, because I hadn't experienced certain things in my life. So like some of the small things in there
Dude.
kind of like changed. Like,
I wish we had like this is the first episode we've done. I wish we had a multicam setup so that they could see your eyes, get how emotional you were, just like talking. That was so cool. Like to, because this is why we do this show,
Yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
Like people lose sight of the power of movies and the power of storytelling and the way that we find connectivity with things in our own life, whether it's a movie like this that's a little more based in reality, or even something that's like a little more outlandish, like Planet of the Apes. Like obviously, like it's not the science fiction elements of it that we're analyzing with our own life. It's the moral and the psychological and the social, and so
Economical.
yeah. So make sure you guys sponsor the podcast so we can get better cameras and show you more of how we feel. But yeah, no, I feel you, man.
Are you
like,
saying that you were trying to get me on camera crying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, tell me that. Clip it. That would go gangbusters.
Speaking of, we need a producer.
Yeah, we're looking for a producer. If you want,
so that person could clip it.
If you want to join our pod and make it look like it wasn't filmed on a BlackBerry, we would certainly appreciate having you on the team. I agree with you though. I enjoyed this even more because it registered with so many more emotions this time around, and it was more valuable to watch and listen to. So I always come with some notes, and I'm sure you do too. We're still, as we grow and develop the show, we're working on the format every week to really figure out the best way to go through this stuff with you. And so naturally we both do a little bit of research and we try to bring some notes so that way we have stuff to talk about before we come to the rewatch. So the goal is that we don't rewatch these before the scheduled rewatch, but we obviously need to have some research and some stuff planned. So that's my little preface to some of the like fun facts and trivia stuff that we throw out in some of these episodes. Because obviously it's stuff that's not mentioned in the movie. It might be stuff that's on like a special feature. That I just thought about that. Maybe we'll start doing some of the bonus features and we'll do those on Patreon. Let us know what you guys think. Shout out to the Patreon crew holding us down since 2018. Some of the fun facts that I thought would be cool to bring up, though, is first off, Carrie Fisher did uncredited script doctor work, and she was basically brought in later in the process to help work on some of Drew Barrymore's dialogue. And it's so funny because I didn't know this beforehand, but if you guys are following us on YouTube, the day that yesterday from the day that we're filming this was the day that the Scream episode came out. And obviously we talked about there's a Carrie Fisher cameo in that as well. So it's just like, I thought that was really funny that came up. And I was like, oh, that's cool that it kind of ties back to the other movies that we're watching.
She's actually been a huge script doctor.
Yeah, she has done.
She even helped on the Star Wars.
Exactly.
And George Lucas did so much, was like, we're keeping this. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, you rewrote what I wrote, and we're gonna keep it because
It's cool how much people have trusted her.
Oh yeah.
And when you watch the movie, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they don't talk. So I think one thing that bothers me about rom-coms is that they feel very infantile, in the sense that they the characters almost seem to talk down to each other in terms of their intelligence. They're not talking to them from an emotionally intelligent equal peer. And so there's just a lot of stuff that's oh, this is I would never talk to somebody like this. This is gross.
I think that's done so that way it can be understood at all age levels.
Yeah, for sure. But it makes me want to vomit. And and this didn't. This was this could obviously be corny in its own right at times, but it seemed very realistic of if you were having a friend group in the 80s or the 90s and you saw somebody that was being a dirtball and thinking they could get away with it, and you were feeling for the different people, you know what I mean? It just seemed a lot more relatable in that sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are definitely points throughout the movie that you're like, okay, I can relate with this. But then there's other points throughout the movie where you're like, nah, I would have said something. I think that's just weird. Honestly, I think Glenn is either the most conceited villain of all time, or he's absolutely the stupidest villain of all time.
He's so easy to get mad at. Is I guess that's great acting at the same time. You know what I mean? But it's oh my God, from the moment he comes on screen, it's I would fight you if I saw you in the street. And it's I know you're the actor, but you got to own up for this character now. I'm sorry, dog. You got to just square up. We just have to do this. I don't care if this movie was 25 years ago and perhaps you're an older man now. This is just how it goes down. You punch Adam Sandler in the nose in front of the bar, I'm coming. It's on site. What else is there to it?
Well, think about it. First of all, he's up in the bar. They're all having a good time, mostly. And he's just yeah, I cheated on her 10 days ago with a younger, hotter chick. And it's I know you have a thing for the girl I'm about to marry, so I'm going to tell you all my dirty secrets.
I know, for real.
Are you that stupid or are you that confident? I'm not sure.
I know, seriously. You have no concern about this blowing up in your face.
Right.
What a world to live in.
I'm going to tell you everything I'm doing because you ain't going to say shit. And I'll tell you right now, I'll be yo, by the way, he ain't that good for you.
For real.
And he's that much of a dirtbag. Yeah, I'm probably going to say something where he's just I'm going to say nothing and then go out with her cousin. It's no.
Funny, the next fun fact, I wish there was a better I hate fun facts. That's so bad. I gotta
stop regurgitating facts.
I gotta exactly. That's what I said. It's the truth. That's exactly why I didn't want to do that, because it really is it's bad taste. But I had seeing the movie countless times and being a stand-up comedy fan and shit like that, I had always recognized that Brian Posehn was in it, and I always thought that was cool. But this was the first time I realized that was literally his film debut. He had basically only done TV and stand-up prior to doing that, and And I was like, damn, that's really cool. Like Adam Sandler really looked out for a lot of people in this movie. And I know we can get into more of them, but to look at how far Brian Posehn has gone in like pop culture and shit, it's like really cool to see him just kind of as this like dope little supporting character.
Well, if you actually like look back, like watch like Happy Gilmore and you watch Billy Madison, you don't see very many of his friends.
Yeah.
But after those two absolutely blew up and succeeded the way that they did, with his star power, he was able to write in like these people are going to be a part of this, and like slowly just throughout all of his movies, you just see more and more of them being involved. Which
once he got his production company funded, it was like it gave him the creative control to be like, look.
But when you stand by somebody's side and you ride with them, ride or die,
yep,
you know, and they finally get that ride part, guess who gets to ride?
Straight up. And
I mean, but look at all the stuff we've gotten from it too. Also, like the amount of movies that those amount of actors and actresses have been a part of after this particular one movie.
It's cool how this like spidered off into so many other things. And I know there is like some other people that we should mention that I want to get into in a little bit. One thing that I don't know if you picked up on it or not, but the flight attendant, the one that comes back and is saying about the guy, you know, this guy just asked me to the Mile High Club.
And the line after that makes me want to throw up. He said I was grade A. First of all, I'm about to tear this apart. First of all, we're going to get this because we're talking about food now. First of all, grade A is the worst of the meats. You don't want a single lettered meat. You don't want a grade A meat. That is like bottom, not a lot of marbleized, not a lot of fat on it. Like that's like the worst of the meat. And he's like, that's top shelf meat to you? Grade A?
Well, I guess I would. To be fair, I wouldn't have known that either. A is always, I feel like A is just culturally associated with good because of like education.
Because we've been brainwashed that way.
Yeah.
And it's the first letter in the alphabet, so it's number one.
Yeah. Well, they certainly did a job. But the flight attendant is Shayna Moakler. She was a Miss USA. She was a Playboy Playmate of the month at one point. But the reason that I think most people probably know her in pop culture is that she was married to Travis Barker and is the mother to his children.
Oh.
Okay. They had a TV show together at one point. It was like Meet the Barkers or something like that. And so it's funny to like look back and see that now and just be like, whoa, your life was going to be a roller coaster after this. Because I think I assume this could have been before that, but I'm not wholly sure. It's not a timeline that I
hey, producer,
remember like that. Oh. Jamie, pull that up. But yeah, that, you know, at that time she was definitely like a notable feature and probably like TV and magazines and all that. So to like just have her as like that little bit part right there was like interesting because it's like
as like a random extra, basically.
Yeah, like anybody could have done that,
right?
But they just happened to
like what 5 lines you had.
Yeah, they just like happened to get somebody notable to do it.
That became very notable afterwards.
I know, for real, for better or worse.
Hey, at least wasn't for a sex tape.
That's fair. There's our monetization for this episode. I think we all of us kind of thought the same thing when we were coming into this, that like the music, this movie has
one of the greatest,
has some of the best music, and I don't know if a movie could afford to license so much good music the way that they did in this. Like this was like the perfect amalgamation of hits from the 80s. And one of the things that I think we both picked up on is that the soundtrack sold incredibly, just like the movie did, and they ended up even doing a volume 2 of the soundtrack after the fact.
There was, I believe, the volume 2 when they released had "Grow Old with You" on it.
Oh,
That's
man.
why it blew up, because it wasn't on the first one.
What a joint.
And then they put it on the second one.
Yeah.
And because that was the only place you can get your hands on, and it's got to remember, this is a time where, you were taking stuff illegally off the internet for music.
Yeah, for real.
So
True story.
To head over to your local CD store, and buy an album that had that many bangers on it was just incredible. I mean, especially for 80s jams, because they were all huge hits. There wasn't like, oh, that was an okay. No, it was like, we would say, like, now they were bangers.
That was joints for sure. And I just think that it's cool, that era of movies, soundtracks were so important. And even if all the songs on the soundtrack weren't used in the movie, they always made sure that the soundtracks were like aesthetic or sonically like the movies. Like I can remember like the Spawn soundtrack, for example, the Crow soundtrack, like so many 90s, like, even the Batman movies, even those movies, if you didn't like them, still had songs that like went platinum. Like Clueless had a great soundtrack. Like so many movies made soundtracks that you wanted to have the album of.
It was like Airheads.
Yeah, Airheads. Oh, what a
I know you love that drop right there. I know you love it.
Yeah.
I know you loved it.
I do. That's one of my favorites. Oh man. I hope that's on this year, whatever. I hope
we literally have control of the list. We can do whatever we want.
I know, but I'm trying to get.
It's called a Patreon episode, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Not to interject from what we're doing, but you guys should get over on Patreon, because now that we're doing so many film club episodes, there's a bunch of exclusives, like early premieres over on Patreon. Like Patreon's getting a bunch of these episodes days and sometimes weeks ahead of time. And so you're going to get Cody Central stuff if you miss it. You're getting early Hellhound Film Club. You're getting some exclusive Hellhound Film Club. We're going to have like more music videos and stuff. So definitely get over there. As the greatest podcast, Are You Garbage says, the world's greatest website, www.patreon.com/Hellhound Publishing. Circling back to one of the first things we were talking about, though, or not, talking about the fact that he like put so many people on in this movie. I thought it would be fun to note. So I think we've talked about this in another episode, but
talked about it in many episodes, I think.
The first Hellhound Film Club that we tried to do was for Grandma's Boy, and the technical stuff didn't work in our favor, so it wasn't really something that we could put up online, but it helped us figure out the format for this show going forward. And so Grandma's Boy holds a special place in our heart for a number of reasons, but also that it was kind of the kickoff of this show that we're doing now in a lot of ways. And this movie put on a lot of that main cast from Grandma's Boy that would, people that would, they were already working on Sandler films, but this was one of the first films that he was able to get them all roles in and stuff like that. So, especially Alan Covert, who is the main character in Grandma's Boy, is like one of this main supporting characters in this movie, and it kills it with his character. His character is unreal. It's so funny. And you see Dante too, which is funny.
Well, what's funny is you see him in this movie, But then when you see him as Dante and Grandma's Boy, you almost look at him from this movie to Grandma's Boy and go, how far a stretch is that?
Right?
how close to the same universe are we in right now?
Yeah. Yo, you know, it's funny that you said that. Dude, there's a number of like jokes that they make in this that end up becoming like recurring characters or themes in other Sandler movies down the road. And I never knew that until doing like the research for this episode. Dude, they talk about a guy named Eric Lemonsaw.
Yep.
And that ends up being Kevin James in Grown Ups.
Yeah.
It's like one of Adam Sandler's like friends from childhood, apparently. And they mention 10-Second Tom, and Alan Covert ends up playing
Like
10-Second Tom in 50 First Dates. And obviously we hear that You Can Do It from Rob Schneider that goes on to be in everything he does because he doesn't have much else to offer. and I tried to pick it up in this watch, but I missed it. But apparently there's a children's book that's called The Puppy Who Lost Its Way. And,
it's in Billy Madison, isn't it?
Well, it's from Billy Madison, this, and Chuck and Larry.
That's right.
But I didn't pick it up in this, so I don't know if the camera like panned by it or if I just like wasn't paying attention when it happened. But
I think one of the kids were holding it.
You're probably right. And like the last thing that I have, I hate, I don't know. I feel like talking about the money that a movie makes is like kind of corny. Like, I just feel like that's not what we don't watch. Like, we watch movies because we like movies, right? Like, you're gonna like what you like. You don't care if it made 100 million, 50 million, 2 million, $70,000. Like, you like what you like because you enjoy it and it makes you feel good. So I try to like not make that be the focal point unless it's really like they made it for no money and it turned around, whatever. But I did think it was interesting knowing the trajectory of Adam Sandler's career that this was the first movie that grossed over $100 million at the box office. And what is so interesting about that is that, in my opinion, there's so many other movies in his catalog that people talk about or reference in pop culture all the time, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Didn't do nearly as well.
Exactly.
Not nearly as well.
And so it's crazy to me. This feels more slept on. I don't know if that's public opinion or not. Like, it has great reviews online. Like, it has great Rotten Tomatoes if you care about that. Like, it did well at the box office.
Horrible on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like everything about this movie is like exactly what you would ask for, and it just makes you wonder why like nobody talked about it more. But that was kind of my like closing thing that I thought was like really interesting.
I feel that Adam's type of humor is a very, very specific niche type of humor. You don't like that type of humor, you don't get that type of humor, it's just not going to be funny to you.
That's definitely fair.
Not going to be funny. And if it's not funny, it's not going to translate very well. I personally think this particular movie that there was incredible chemistry between Drew and Adam, which really helped. You also see that chemistry work really well in 50 First Dates. Unfortunately, it did not work as well in Blended.
Yeah, I never even saw that.
That was the third one that they did together. I feel like they were trying to recapture like that magic kind of thing. But like I said, I think this particular movie that their chemistry did so well on screen that it helped translate, and then almost that the humor became second.
Yeah.
where in the first two, I felt like it was the humor first with a little love story behind it. You know, Billy Madison fall in love with the teacher, Happy Gilmore fall in love with the, what the golf media advisor.
Yeah.
Like I felt like those were like subplots, and the humor was more of really the plot. Where here, I feel like almost the romance became the main plot, and then the humor became second.
Yeah. I will say though, I think this is my favorite of like the Adam Sandler movies. Like,
I stated earlier this week, I might get flack for this, but this is one of my favorite Adam movies.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's
No,
one
I think.
I'm going to say it out loud. I think it's one of his better ones.
Oh, I agree. But even like
if
out
the
of
internet wants to catch flack for it with
Yeah,
me,
that's
I'm okay
fine.
with it, and I'll stand behind what I say.
yeah, but I think this would be number one. No, I don't know if I could go down the whole list, but I would also put Big Daddy up there. I feel like that doesn't get talked about quite as much either.
For me, the big thing about the Big Daddy thing that really like kind of hits home is the whole like father son relationship thing.
Yeah.
I think that had a very personal
Yeah.
attachment for me. So like it hit a little differently. The comedy was still there,
Yeah.
but I feel like the the plot and the context of the movie was more about something.
Yeah. It was like really building on the story.
I feel like there was a completed story around there. I also feel like in Big Daddy, a lot of the writing was done, well.
Yeah.
And like I said, the whole story was put around a story. Then I felt like the humor was added around the story. Where some of these, I just feel like it's all right, slapstick humor, and then we'll figure out the story through it. But that's also like you said, Big Daddy, and I'm gonna just bring it up because it's one of my favorite Adam Sandler's is Waterboy.
Yeah, that's a great one, without a doubt. What would if you were seeing this for the first time, or if you were showing somebody this for the first time, what would be the ideal setup?
Home.
I'm glad you said that.
Home.
I felt the same way.
See, I told y'all I would not say theater every single week. I told you guys that. Home.
Like, this would be fun to see in a theater without a doubt. But if it was my first time seeing it, I would want to watch it at home with another person. Like,
if I was hanging with my boys and one of my boys had never seen it, I want to be at home. I want to be chilling. I want to be relaxed. I want to get in that right mind frame.
yeah,
I want to feel good, and I want to laugh. I want a good laugh.
This
If
was
I
like,
was with a lady,
mhm,
that's a perfect movie. I can snuggle up on the couch,
Yep.
watch a good rom-com, be funny, have a good time, have some chuckles with her. In a theater, you got other people around you. You can't really
Yeah.
have that kind of moment where I feel like this, like with the boys, I want to be able to laugh and maybe have a quick like, whoa, conversation, quick
Yeah.
little something with them. Where if I did that in a theater,
nah, that's how I feel. Honestly, this to me is like, this would be like the perfect Blockbuster movie. Like, if Blockbuster was still around, I would like pick this up on a Friday night and pick up like a pizza at Pizza Hut, grab like a couple drinks, whatever, bring all this stuff back to the crib and just like hang out for the night. And like, we only had home phones, so it was like nobody was hitting me up on the home phone, like it really is like, I think this has some of the most replay value. You could watch this like year after year, and I feel like never gets. At least I could watch. I should restate that. I could watch this year after year and never get sick of it.
I agree because like this is the movie. Like I said, my boys, my lady, doesn't matter. Like you said, a Friday night,
Yep.
grab a pizza, some wings, couple OEs, head back to the house, have some drinks, have something to eat, watch a movie. Like I said, whether it's the boys or the ladies, either one that plan works with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And throwing this movie on, even to this day, You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just chilling and you got a couple people and you're like, yo, you throw a movie on.
Yeah,
You
it's
grab this
still
and
super
throw it in
funny.
there. Half the people are gonna be like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
The other half are gonna laugh at you and be
Yeah.
like, I haven't watched this in forever.
They're either going to be quoting it or they're going to be singing along to it.
Exactly. There's no way you're not.
Yeah. So you know how the gauntlet goes. We every time we close off a movie,
I just gotta point something out real quick. Gotta point this out. As a musician, as you being a musician, do you find it hysterical in the movie that George can play 15 different instruments but only knows one song? Dude was playing piano, clarinet, trombone.
Let's be honest here. The amount of money that they probably spent licensing music for that movie, they weren't giving George no songs. They probably paid six figures for him to get that one song, and they were like, "Dude, you're playing this.
We're gonna beat it to the ground."
Yeah. They're like,
I just had to ask you the whole movie. I was watching it, going, "Man, as a musician over here,
dude, think of this context, right? Obviously, we all like stand-up comedy. Dan Soder.
Yep.
Dan Soder tells a story about how he wanted to use Margaritaville in one of his specials from Jimmy Buffett, and not only would he have had to get approval and shit, but it was $150,000 to just play that on the outro of his special. So think about all of the songs that were used in this movie and how much money and like some of them in like lengthy proportion too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's like they probably had a hefty budget for licensing music for this movie.
Most of their budget was too. Well, that's why they had to do the soundtrack to recoup the money
on that. Yeah. So,
but yes, back to that.
When we wrap up a movie, or at least for myself, I'm trying to encourage more people to do it. But whenever I finish watching a movie, I crack open the Letterboxd and do a review. So, what would you give The Wedding Singer in this rewatch out of 5 stars?
A 3.
Okay, that's fair.
It's in no shape or form is it a horrible movie or a bad movie. But at the same time, it's not one of those movies that absolutely changed the game.
Okay.
Like, cinematically, like, I mean, it was filmed nice, but like I'm saying, cinematically, it didn't change anything. There was no like major prosthetic like that changed the game, such as Planet of the Apes. Like, but
this is your personal.
But as for my personal opinion, 100%, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable movie. It's a movie I would recommend to anybody.
Okay.
And definitely a movie I would rewatch.
Yeah.
And that's definitely why it stays up on the 3 end. Because if it's not a rewatch movie, you guys will know, I promise you.
Okay. I can respect that. You're pretty stingy with your stars, but I can respect it. Like,
well, you gave me crap because I gave a high rating for Planet of the Apes.
I could understand that. I gave you crap for that.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Oh, because I think I gave it a 4.5 or a 5, and you were like, there ain't that many movies that are 5s.
Oh well, that's but that's honest.
Yeah.
There's a 5-star would be a perfect movie,
right?
How many perfect movies have you seen? You know,
minimal.
That's what I'm saying. So I wasn't giving you crap. I was just creating awareness in the concept of like, is Planet of the Apes a perfect movie? That's what I wanted to know.
To me, certain things make a movie a perfect movie. Like we were talking about it. To me, it's something that changes the game forever.
Yeah. Because see, I feel like I can qualify, like for something like this, I can qualify a movie and like understand where you're coming from. But when I rate it, I'm rating it for like my personal enjoyment and experience.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I dig it. Three is still good, guys. A little heartbroken, admittedly. kind of thought we were having a moment on this podcast, and it felt like this movie really struck a chord. But I'll take a 3. Things could have been worse. Personally, when I go and type up my letterboxd later, which you guys can follow me at, I think I'm going 4 stars because it offered nearly everything that I was looking for. But like I said, it's just not a perfect movie. And I could have gone 4.5 stars, but I feel like that's like a little audacious because it's a short movie. It cuts right to the point. You know what I mean? Like there's like things that didn't get expounded on that would have been cool if they did. I would have liked to see some of what happens after the wedding or what happens leading up to it, because like we talked about some of the shortcuts in the writing. Like one thing I was surprised about is like the mom when she's like cheering at, I guess hopefully if you guys are watching this late into the podcast, you should know that it's laden with spoilers. So hopefully you guys watch the movie before you watch the podcast. But,
I would hope so at this point.
When the mom is cheering at her and Robbie's wedding, I'm like, yo, weren't you just crucifying this lady, being like, yo, you're gonna leave this rich guy for a wedding singer? Now you out here cheering. I'm like, I don't know if I would stand for that. So that's why my letterbox review is at a 4 and not a 4.5.
Well, that's
because there's a couple little holes like that.
And I guess that's part of my thing too. Like she turns around and just shows up to his house all pissed off because he's with his ex-girlfriend. First of all, he's a single dude, and now you're mad. You're about to get married the next day, and you're mad that he's with another woman. Like,
I don't know if it's as mad as heartbroken though. You know what I mean? Like,
but technically, you still were engaged and still getting married.
But you can still be mad about shit even if you're like in the wrong.
I know, like, but it's just
your feelings are your feelings. You just got to manage them better. Like, but man, I had a blast watching this personally.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, strong 4.
I also love picking things apart.
Strong 4 from me. Strong 3 from Danny.
At least it wasn't a 6-7.
Oh my god, this guy. All right,
now we go viral.
So let me do a movie of the week with you guys this week. I'm gonna go back in time because, like I said, we've been doing a lot of stuff on the podcast lately, and so
such a good movie,
huh?
Such a good movie.
What? This one?
When did we have to talk about? I think. When did we have to talk about? The one we talked about last week?
No. What?
What? What'd you do?
I went backwards in my letterboxd so I could pull out a review that wasn't one that we watched.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going off script, bro.
Yeah. So
he's going off script.
So my movie of the week this week is gonna be Clueless, which I actually watched on January 18th because that is also one of my fiance's favorite movies. However, I watched this at the old lady's request today. Never fails. Great nostalgia, good comedy writing, funny to compare and contrast how things are now, and long live the 90s. I really, like, Clueless is not a movie that I would choose or go out of my way to watch, but like watching it again, I was like, I could see why this was fun. It was a good time. So like I said, every time we watch a movie here, every time I watch a movie in my real life, I always log them and review them on Letterboxd. There's much more interesting people than me on Letterboxd, like Martin Scorsese and other filmmakers, film podcasters, actors, film fans, cinephiles, whatnot. If you're interested in getting involved in Letterboxd, I think it's a really cool community that's focused on movies, and you can learn a little bit more about it and follow me. We're back. So we got a couple cool film screenings and events coming up that we're going to run through for you guys before we wrap things up. The first thing I want to announce, I got to read it off my phone, but if you have been following my podcast, Cody Central, you may remember that a little while back, I had my good friend John True on the show. He manages the Owl Theater at the Middlesex Community College in Lowell. And so he hit me up this week to let me know that they're going to be screening Sinners, the brand new Ryan Coogler movie. They're going to be screening Sinners at the Owl Theater in Lowell, Massachusetts, Friday, February 6th at 7 p.m. You can get tickets for $5 on middlesex.universitytickets.com. If anybody hits me up, I'll send you a link. I know the episode might go up, or the episode will probably be up after that airs. But if you see clips from this, if you're here watching this live with us, if you're hanging out at the bar, listening through the speakers, whatever the case is, Sinners is playing this Friday. And I'm so happy for them because the Owl Theater is a really cool independent, like, black box theater where they do screenings that they can get the rights to and whatnot. And my boy John has worked really hard to keep this thing going and grow it. And so for them to get a movie like Sinners is just super, super cool. And yeah, so make sure you guys go check that out this Friday. And let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. All right. We got Sunday, February 8th. We've got Mixed Blood presented by Cinematograph Films at Film Forum, New York, New York. Cinematograph Films present their 4K restoration of the 1980s Vicious Gang film from director Paul Morsi, featuring the debut of actor John Leguizamo. This is presented as a part of the Films Forum ongoing Tenement series From Immigrants to Bohemians film program.
That was a chunky one to barrel through. Sunday, February 8th, The Defiant Ones, presented by the Nashua Public Library at the NPL Theater right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. On this week of the NPL's Sunday Cinema Classics, they're going to be screening The Defiant Ones, a 1958 classic about two escaped convicts chained together who have to learn how to work together in order to evade capture.
Sunday, February 15th, Mary Poppins, presented by Nashua Public Library at NPL Theater in Nashua, New Hampshire. On this week of the NPL Sunday Cinema Classic, they're screening Mary Poppins, 1960s pop culture icon. From a story of a turn-of-the-century London, a magical nanny employs music and adventure to help two neglected children become closer to their father.
On Sunday, February 22nd, as part of NPL's Sunday Cinema Classics at the Nashua Public Library here in Nashua, New Hampshire, they're going to be screening The Sweet Smell of Success, the 1957 classic with Burt Lancaster and Tony Curtis, where a powerful Broadway columnist coerces an unscrupulous press agent into breaking up his sister's romance with a jazz musician.
And I know my co-host is super excited for the next one. Tuesday, February 23rd, we have Twin Peaks Day at Brattle Theater. In honor of what would have been David Lynch's 80th birthday, Brattle Theater secured an opportunity to play all of season 1 of Twin Peaks, starting at 11:30 when Dale Cooper first crossed into town.
And as we always like to do, quick shout out to some of our favorite theaters in the area. We got the Coolidge Corner Cinema, one of the best theaters in all of North America, right outside of Boston and Cambridge, Massachusetts. The Brattle Theater, another Boston area theater with incredible programming. You guys should definitely be out there supporting the Brattle Theater. Wilton Town Hall Theater in Wilton, New Hampshire, one of the most special theaters still going. Like we say, it's inside of the historic town hall building that's been around since the 1800s. All of their movie screenings are free. They have a cash-only concession stand. That's how you support them. They show 2 movies at a time. They have 2 different screening rooms. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. Really great people. And the New Hampshire Film Festival is going down October 15th through the 18th in downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire. for filmmakers. Submissions are open now. You can get all the details at nhfilmfestival.com. We'll throw a few podcasts out there for you to listen to until our next episode drops. One of my favorites is You Must Remember This by Karina Longworth. It's themed seasons of intricately researched podcasts about the secret and or forgotten histories of Hollywood's first century. Also, you have Joe and Ronan Talk Movies. Joe List and Ronan Hirschberg are stand-up comedians who do as the title implies and discuss movies. I'm huge fans of them. I follow a bunch of Joe List's podcasts. He's hilarious. This one, they just do hilarious takes on movies that they've watched. They'll do old movies, new movies. It's super funny. And lastly, one that I hope everybody gets a chance to check out at some point, One Handshake Away. Hosted by cinema icon Peter Bogdanovich shortly before his passing, One Handshake Away is a collection of unprecedented long-form conversations with some of the most acclaimed directors working today. Quentin Tarantino, Ken Burns, Greta Gerwig, and others pay homage to the influence of the directorial legends of the past, bringing listeners one handshake away from the icons of Hollywood's past and present.
I know you've been pushing that one on me. I know you have. I really got to just sit down and start it,
because it's only like 8 episodes or 6 episodes or something.
That's what you keep telling. And only half of them you said was actually with Peter.
Yeah, Peter. He did like, if there were 6 episodes, he did like 4 of them or something like that. And then Guillermo del Toro finished them up. But
I really need.
They're like really moving conversations for sure.
Yeah, you keep telling, you like keep hammering that one on me, and I'm like, I really need to check that out. So,
and we're gonna add more to this list every week too. So if you guys have suggestions, drop them in the comments. We're always looking to check stuff out. We watch a lot of stuff too, obviously, but it's tough to fit everything into what we're doing. But you know, we love movies, and part of the fun of movies is discovering new movies as well as rewatching old movies. And so that's why I look forward to discovering movie podcasts, because they often drive my interest in discovering new movies. And that's getting close.
Before we outro, man, I got a question for our people real quick. Yo, you guys out there, hit us in the comments. Let us know if you want us to refilm Grandma's Boy.
Oh, man.
You guys can control that. You guys in the comments, tell us that if you want to see us refill, because we're getting better every single week.
Yeah.
Technically, sound, audio, visual, everything's getting better every week. So if you want us to redo Grandma's
we'll re-record it, and then we'll put it out next year on its release date when our equipment is immensely better than when we recorded it.
And a year from now, it better be. There we go. People will speak. If they want to see it, they'll speak.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is every episode has come out on the theatrical release date or close to the theatrical window.
Yeah, but if they want it that bad, it'll be on Patreon.
Well, I guess let us know. I don't need an excuse to watch another movie, so that's always cool with me. Quick side note from movies. I have a run of Cody Pope dates coming up. I'm going to be playing all over New England starting at the end of March. So if you want to check out dates, tickets, all that good stuff, head over to cody-pope.com. You're going to be able to see all my dates as I list them. We're going to be booking out through the rest of the year pretty soon. We're going to be making some stops around other parts of the country, and we got some really big plans. So make sure you guys stay tuned to cody-pope.com. And here is a little bit that you can check out on the site.
Then I stopped too late. How could I be so selfish? Do this. Lost under the state like inventory of dead ends. I miss home, I can't memories of my dead friends. It's my soul on the record, like removing the mask. Brain connected, feel electric, intermeshing spacecrafts. I was cooking and building the system. It took a minute to win it, but now we built to kill them. Then I opened up and I looked again, saw the sound like it's the base of my friends. Lost some gems, I'm bound to lose some more. prescription. You got me convincing. There's a lot you've been missing since I built this lot that you slipped in his prison. This got me crawling. Not perfect, not even close to all right. If you're with me, let me hear you say all right. I'm all about my name, yo.
I'm excited to get back out there on the road. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys out there with us. And I think that's all from us tonight. This was a blast. Huge shout out to our sponsor, The Spot. This is where we are every single Wednesday night for free movie night. You can come down here too. It's all ages. It's 217 Main Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. All of these episodes that you see, we film them at The Spot, and then we produce them and put them out for you guys later. But we actually screen the movies on a projector right here. As you can see, we got couches, we got popcorn, we got pizza. It's a good time. We're here every Wednesday, so make sure you guys come and check us out. This has been an awesome night. Thank you guys so much for coming out and rocking. Loved watching The Wedding Singer. I hope you guys already watched it. I hope you love it as much as I do. Maybe love it a little more than Danny does, but not more than I do. I think that would be the best formula for that. But
Don't worry, 7 p.m. next week. I'll be here again.
That's right. Same bat channel, same bat time. New episodes come out every Tuesday at 8 o'clock on YouTube. And you can catch both of us on Mondays live at 8 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel for Cody Central as well. That's all from us. Make sure you keep watching movies, go to movie theaters, and lastly,